My name is Jordan Thomas, and I am the founder of the Jordan Thomas Foundation, a nonprofit here in Nashville, Tennessee, that's committed to providing prosthetic devices to kids that can't afford them until they reach adulthood. I was scuba diving in August of 2005. I was in the Florida Keys with my dad and my mom, and I dove into the water to go lobster fishing, really. And I was pushed behind the boat, and the waves. We were so far out. I mean, we were 5 miles off the coast, so the waves were massive, and these waves pushed me closer and closer to the boat. My mom was driving the boat, and she recognized that I was getting closer and closer. And so she didn't want the boat to come down on my head. And so she made the decision, like we do, in an instant, and she gunned the boat to try to get out of the way to protect me. And unfortunately, the propeller pulled me in and it hit my feet. And it was something I knew immediately what had happened. There was this awareness, I felt a sharp pain, and I looked down and my fins were not there. And I saw a lot of blood in the water, and I recognized that we were really in trouble. And so my parents did a great job of getting me back onto the boat. And then, I was there with my mom, and she was with me. She's a physician. My dad's a physician. And I think without them, I certainly wouldn't be here today. So they did a great job of getting us back to shore. I was then airlifted to Miami, where I underwent 3 surgeries and ultimately lost both my legs at about mid-calf. So lost both my legs below the knee. Really, for me, it was the village. It was the group of people around me. It sounds simple, but the only way I got through it was with the love and support of the people around me. And I didn't do it perfectly by any means. As a 16-year-old boy, obviously that's such a traumatic event and such a big loss. But the way I survived it was through the help and support and love of people around me. And I leaned on those people. And it wasn't always pretty. I mean, I want to really be clear, like, it was not sunshine and puppy dogs the entire time. Like, there was a lot of struggle, there was a lot of pain, there was a lot of grief, there was a lot of hard work. And I also recognized there was a lot of perspective there that I gained. I learned a lot about prosthetics and how they're not covered sufficiently. And I saw a lot of kids there in the hospital that didn't have access. And so I said, we've got to do something about it. I mean, it was just problem solution. And so we started the foundation there in the hospital, and it's important to me, and it's my life's work, and it's my calling. And so I get out of bed and I go get after it every day. The only way that I learned sort of the depths of my resiliency and my sort of joy and zest for life was through experiencing that tremendous grief and pain and loss, right? So I learned that I really have kind of another gear, so to speak. And I only learned that because of the depth of loss and grief. I learned the value of, like, asking for help, being like, I can't do this, and leaning on people and saying, like, I just need your support. That was a big thing. And then finally, the joy of, like, being of service to others, and what that means and what that can provide in terms of fulfillment and joy and gratitude. I mean, like, I get to wake up and I get to go to work for these kids and their families every day. And the joy and fulfillment that gives me is it's pretty astonishing. My story is fairly unique. It doesn't happen often, but one way or another, we've all lost our legs. We will all face grief, and we will all face things that require resiliency or that we have to overcome. That's the nature of being human, I think. So I think, number one, it's okay to not be okay sometimes. I had a big idea that I had to wear a mask and I had to pretend that all was well in the world, when inside I was just really hurting and I needed help and support, right? And it's okay to ask for some support and love, and to reach out to people and be vulnerable and say, hey, I just need you. And I think the second one, some of the darkest times of my life were when I felt like it's this way now and it will always be this way. And I think that's a fallacy. I think that's a dangerous place, right? So the idea of the impermanence of stuff, I may be facing this right now, and my life may be difficult, or this struggle, whatever it is, fill in with the blank for each of us. It will change, and my perspective around it will change. Sometimes it's just really pretty crappy, and that's okay. And it will change. Tomorrow will be different. The value of being authentic and real and sharing vulnerably is another thing that I want to just, like, hammer on, because I wasn't always committed to saying how I felt or where I was, being honest about it. So getting rid of those masks and being authentic and being real about who and what I am, and how I'm feeling has been really freeing. So, you know, be true to who you are and go pursue your passion, your love for this life, because gosh, it can just in an instant flip.